Today's interview is from the band Symmetry. I met up with band members Eric, Marcus, and Evan at the Detroit Lager House for their 2023 10-year anniversary tour.
I swear so much. Okay. I have such a potty mouth, you
Beep.
guys.
No. I'll censor you live. Beep,
beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep, beep. This is Corey. I'm here with Pet Symmetry. Beep, beep, beep,
Hi.
beep, beep, beep,
beep, beep.
We're at the Detroit Lager House, part of your 10-year celebration tour.
Sounds crazy when you say it that way.
Yeah, when
Sounds
you say
like
it
we're
that, it sounds
old.
as hell.
Wait. Hold on.
I'm waiting for the next 10 years.
Starting off, this is a show to introduce a new group of listeners to different bands.
Got it.
So how would you introduce yourselves to somebody who might not know who Pet Symmetry is?
Oh, we talked about this the other day. What was it? I was wrong.
Well, Pet Sim is for the people.
Pet Sim is for the people.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
We're here to spread love and a good time.
Yes.
And in the form of just absolute silliness and mayhem. But we're, happy-go-lucky punk band.
If you like punk rock with a tuneful affect, then maybe you'll like Pet Symmetry.
I like
no
that.
big deal if you don't,
And no big deal if you don't.
No
That's
big deal if
okay,
you don't.
too.
Yeah.
But we like you still.
Right. Truly.
And in 10 years, 10 years from now,
we'll still be doing this.
we'll check back and see if we did it.
Yeah, you'll all be graduated by then. You'll have been burned out by the capitalist system.
And so what motivated you guys to have this tour?
I think I bothered everybody.
Well, I think we don't get to tour very often. We're busy in other bands. Pet Sim doesn't get to do a whole lot. That is a headline. We haven't done a headliner since 2016, and even then was kind of short. And so we felt like it was a good excuse to get together and trot out the Sim for a fun time before we dive into a bunch of other projects we're working on for the rest of the year. And we get to celebrate our first 7-inch, which has been, oddly enough, our most successful release.
Yeah.
Skateboarders like it.
Skateboarders love it.
The first songs we ever wrote and recorded are somehow the top songs on our Spotify page, so people have connected with them, and feels good to go back out and reconnect with new fans, too.
And, hang out with our friends.
And hang out with our
And
pals.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always a good excuse for us to all hang out and have a good time together.
Yeah.
Which is always the best way to do this band.
And why did you choose Camp Trash and Retirement Party to
that's a
join
good
you
question.
on this tour?
Keegan from Camp Trash has a very epic Twitter presence, so that definitely got our attention.
Camp Trash kind of feels like a younger us.
Yeah, totally.
Like we see a lot of ourselves in them, and
they're the same age as us.
yeah, there's kind of like a spiritual vibe with them. But
We're not that old.
But
I was
also,
gonna say.
Retirement Party, when we've done some shows with the Retirement Party a lot back in the day, and
Hometown friends.
Avery and Chris are absolute homies, and we kind of went out on a lark because they broke up a year ago, and we asked them if they were interested in reforming to do this tour because we wanted another band. We wanted to bring a new band that we really liked on the road, but we also wanted to bring an older band that we played with a lot, maybe throughout the early stages of this band, to be the other band. And they were one of those bands. And that was pretty much why.
Yeah, and then Camp Trash is...
They're our pals.
They're our pals.
Yeah, and then Camp Trash is, another, like, a newer band that we wanted to make sure we also brought a newer band out that we really like, and, they are from the same, was it ilk? Is that the right word?
Cut from the same cloth.
Yes, thank
yes.
you.
Yeah.
Beautiful way to say that.
Bispectacled, similar...
Dorks.
Yeah, dorks.
Beautiful dorks.
Just like us.
Just like us.
And what made you decide to start the tour in Detroit?
It's the closest major city to Chicago.
I go east from Chicago.
I don't book the tours.
You hit Detroit first.
Yeah, we wanted to do the Northeast because those are the places we played the most. And like when we did our very first tour, I think the first show we ever played out of state was in Grand Rapids, actually. So
It could have been.
I think it was at the
right.
DAC in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to do
Yeah.
a good Michigan show, and so we were just exploring different opportunities. I mean, because Michigan's so cool, you can play in like so many different towns in the state. But yeah, we just wound up working out that we were able to do the show here.
Since we're reminiscing, let's talk about how you guys met. I know the story's been told a few times, but for people who haven't heard any of those interviews.
So Marcus and I played in a band called Dowsing a long time
Well, how did
ago.
you guys meet?
Me and Eric
wanna go-
met.
All right,
I
let's
used
go
to play in.
back.
I still play in a band called the Please and Thank Yous. And that was my first band.
Yes.
And the Please and Thank Yous played a show down in the Pilsen neighborhood of Chicago.
Yes.
And Eric was visiting Chicago because you were touring a college.
Yes.
You were thinking about going to for
What
grad
college?
school.
I went to the University of Illinois at Chicago.
But
for
you were
my
touring. That
master's.
was what the school you were touring.
Yes.
Was for that.
Yeah.
Better,
yes.
better question. What major?
urban planning.
Urban planning.
I have a
daddy.
master's.
Yeah, for all you high school students looking to get into your future.
Talk to Rick about urban planning.
I didn't go to college, so I can't help you there. Although I would suggest,
Not going.
college
I
is
went
for
to art
suckers.
school. It was fine. I mean, whatever.
I have a master's, and I say, if you really want one, go for it.
Me and Rick met at this show, and
Yes.
then you were living in a house in New Jersey that booked punk shows in your
Yes.
basement, and we were like, hey, can we come play your basement? And you were like, yeah. So then we booked a whole tour around your basement.
My basement.
Yeah.
and we
What's-
just stayed in touch.
What's crazy is Rick and I are both from New Jersey,
Yep.
and we never met in New Jersey. So then Eric moves to Chicago, and you start dowsing with Marcus, right?
Yep. You came to our second show.
I saw dowsing,
Yes.
and I watched how Eric wrote songs, and I thought about how much potential there would be if Eric and I wrote songs together. And so
very
I approached
flattering.
Eric at the show. I was like, yo, what do you think about just starting a fun power pop band? This is my idea. And then we're like, yeah. And then we kind of talked about it for a minute, and we were like, oh, cool. And we should get Marcus to drum too. And that was it. Then the name came from
The legend himself.
Mr. Chris Farron, our friend Chris Farron.
That's right.
He was playing in a band called Fake Problems at the time, and I guess the story goes is that Frank Turner was trying to find a name for his new band. And so I'm on Facebook, and I'm watching Chris Farron just rattle off these band names under Frank Turner's post, just boom, 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 awesome band name, awesome band name, awesome band name. And I saw Pet Symmetry in that list, and so I texted Chris, and I was like, yo, dog, if Frank doesn't want that band name, can I have that band name? I have the perfect band for it. I feel like it would really fit this vision I have for what this band could be. And Chris,
This could have been Frank Turner's band name.
it could have been Frank Turner's band name.
Wow.
We're basically Frank Turner.
But so, he gave us permission to use it under the guise that we would thank him in every record that we ever
Which
made.
we do.
Which we do
Yeah.
forever. And we even put him on the cover of one of our
Yeah.
records.
Yes.
And this also counts. So
Yeah,
This does count.
This
We
does
always
count.
have to thank
We
him.
always shout him out. We don't have that band name without him. It was his idea. What's crazy too is those two songs from the 7-inch that we're playing today were what we wrote the very first time we got
Straight up.
together.
That's
Just
right.
got together in the garage.
Yeah,
and
we
just-
Eric and I got together in the kitchen of Eric's old house called Narnia, and we wrote those two songs together, just sitting there, just
Narnia
to do
with
it
a
for
G.
him, and then showed up to Marcus with him a week later.
That's right.
And that was all the very first stuff we ever did.
And then we went to the studio 3 days.
But yeah,
after
not
that.
even after that. We practiced once and then
Yeah,
went to
right.
record it.
Okay.
and when you say studio, I hear the studio is also a garage, Asian Man Records. Is that
No.
what you call it?
The garage is
So
where the labels run out of.
Yes.
So Mike Park, who runs Asian Man Records, runs the label out of his garage.
out of his garage in San Jose.
in San Jose, California.
We recorded that 7-inch at a place called
Atlas Studios.
Atlas Studios, which
Yep.
is where the Lawrence Arms had recorded and
Alkaline
Alkaline
Trio.
Trio.
Alkaline Trio, and
Chicago punk legend.
but our friend Mark
Yes.
Mahalik, I think our now friend, you guys didn't really know him.
Not
right?
at all before that. No.
But
I was
so
too terrified to know anyone at that point.
Mark's recorded 90% of the Pet Sim or 80% of the Pet Sim catalog. But so he
83.4%.
some percentage.
That's a good percentage.
Some high percentage. But so he recorded us there, and it was the first time Marcus and Eric had ever met him, and now he's kind of an integral part of what makes the band
The
sound.
secret fourth member.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Also tall and
Has
Spectacled
glasses.
and glasses.
He's
Yeah.
in the music video we did,
Oh, truly.
For 2001.
Yeah,
and he's the one screaming. I'm screaming at him.
He's driving the van.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. That's Mark.
Yeah.
Continuing with reminiscing, what are some really memorable past tour moments, or just
Wow.
a tour that really sticks out?
Oh wow.
I really loved the tour we did with Rap Boys. That was the
Yes.
Vision tour.
That was really
Yeah.
fun.
That was a
was
really
fun.
good vibe. The shows were all packed. It was that we our bits were dialed in. It was everything about it was super super great. I also really loved the very first tour.
The very first
that
tour was
was
Scrappy.
awesome.
It was really fun.
DIY
the
tour.
shows were really cool. There were a bunch of bands we would have never normally played with, and like, but it was really sweaty and hot and just a good, fun punk tour.
Summertime. Touring with Jeff Rosenstock was so fun.
That was a good one. That was a
good
long one.
Big long tour. I remember
right.
swimming in a pool in Florida at like the end and just feeling insane.
I know what my favorite tour memory is. It's Marcus getting maced
Oh,
at a
yes.
house show.
I was
Macing
thinking about that
myself.
too. Yeah. Yes.
I accidentally maced myself and our friend and the whole house we were playing at
In Tallahassee.
in Tallahassee, Florida. It was an accident. It looked like a toy gun, but it was a mace gun. What?
It was like a water gun
Yeah, it was like,
filled
it was
with
like
mace.
a red water gun, like just right in the face, you know.
Did you have to play right away after that?
Yeah, we played
Yeah.
like immediately afterward.
And it was
My
just
whole
a sweaty
face was
base-
just melting.
like sweaty garage. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
We also wore Hawaiian T-shirts for 6 days in a row. And we weren't allowed to take them off.
Yeah, you couldn't remove
You
the shirt
couldn't
under
remove the
any
shirt.
circumstances.
I went swimming with that shirt on.
We went to the Hibachi Grill with them on. What else did we do in those shirts?
Disney World. We did Disney World with them on.
World.
Yeah, that was fun.
How do they smell after 6 days?
I don't
Like
remember.
poison.
Horrifyingly.
That was a good
Well, I
shirt.
maced mine, so I left mine at the place.
Oh.
What a good memory.
Favorite fan moments?
Fan moment.
Fan moments.
Oh, man, there's always, there's just like good moments where, oh, this isn't this band. I'm in too many bands. I'm trying to think now. That's hard.
Well, we did it. We did a thing. Eric did. I should say Eric did a thing
I did a thing. Oh, yeah.
on Memorial Day
Let's talk about
Oh,
that.
couple
my
years ago,
goodness.
where Eric watched. Are you familiar with Butter Dog? Do you know what Butter Dog is?
I don't
The
think
dog
so.
with
It's
the
the
butter
dog
on
with
it?
the butter on him.
Butter dog.
Oh, how could I not know
They
this?
know.
You all know what I'm talking about.
Your students
know
will
about
show
it.
you later.
Yeah. So Eric with a group of people in our Patreon watched Butter Dog for 10 hours
10 hours.
12
10 hours straight of
10
Butter
hours
Dog.
straight, loop.
And
Butter
the
dog, dog with
winner
the butter on it.
the winner was going to get an all expenses paid trip to Chicago.
Right.
Where we
hang
would
out.
take them around all day and do like band and label
Fun
stuff with
stuff.
them. And so first of all, how many people like actually finished? There was like 6 people who finished it,
Like
right?
there were like 8 or 9 people that actually like
Watched the whole
thing.
thing.
No one dropped out. Everyone
Unreal.
did it.
And so our friend,
I spun a wheel.
Vivian,
I spun a wheel.
To decide the winner.
To decide the winner. I had to. 'cause-
I hate to be the person who watched it for the 10 hours
And
and
lost.
then lost.
But
I know.
they're a good group. They're a good.
They're a good group.
kids, though.
They're a good
where They were supportive of each other.
So Vivian
you know?
actually is a flight attendant, so they didn't need us to buy their flight.
Yeah.
So we donated the money that would have been the flight to a local animal hospital
Yes.
or a
Correct.
local animal rescue.
Yes.
And then Vivian came to Chicago, and we spent a whole day with them just doing like they wound up being on a
We had a pizza
recording,
party.
and they helped us pack records,
Yep.
and they like got to do all this kind of like band centric
The
stuff. with us.
glamour.
Yeah,
The glitz.
it's a really good fan moment.
Yeah, it was fun. That's a really good. That's true. That's good. And on this tour, wait, hold on. And on this tour,
On this
someone
tour.
won last year's hot dog eating contest, in which I ate 11.5 hot dogs. They guessed the right number of hot dogs. They live in Toronto, and they're the guest of honor at our show.
Yeah.
Yes.
This show.
What does that
No,
mean?
tomorrow night.
Okay.
And what does that mean yet? I don't know.
We don't know what that
but
means.
we're gonna make
They
something
get
They're the
happen.
guest of
do
honor.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
We're coming
Us to
for
do.
Drew, and we're gonna make Drew the guest of honor tomorrow.
We also do an interview show called the Pet Sim Power Hour. And on the last tour we did, we were actually bringing up fans on stage
Oh, yeah.
to be interviewed on stage as part of the Pet Sim Power Hour.
yeah, we
really
did do
cool.
that.
We really like to integrate our fans into our
Yes.
madness.
I agree. It's fun.
No one is safe.
You guys have really good chemistry. And it's very easy to see that you guys are really close friends outside of the band.
Oh yeah.
And everybody's hugging right now. Nobody could see it, but everyone could hear the hug. So in those 10 years, what are some of the shared milestones that you guys have experienced with each
Oh,
other?
that's a good question.
When we went on our headliner with Rat Boys, I took the money I made from that tour and I bought a engagement ring for my now wife. So that was like because of Pet Sim.
Yeah. It's a good
Wow.
memory.
I was like, now I can use this money.
I had my first psychedelic experience with Pet Sim.
Yes.
Same. Me too. Me too.
I would say that was a milestone.
Make
We've
of
done a-
that what you will.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes Pet Sim really special is we never like poo-poo an idea. Like even if we don't think the idea is a good one, we'll at least entertain it or talk about it.
Yes, and.
And like And I've done more like silly, ridiculous, and like harebrained things with this band than I have with any other band I've ever been in. Where it's like the stuff that other bands would be afraid of doing, this band's not really afraid of doing that stuff. And I think it pays off in a lot of ways. Like, allows us to be like our truest, silliest, goofiest selves in a really like safe space.
Pet Sim is for the people.
Pet Sim's for
Pet
the
Sim is
people.
for the people. It's true.
I'm going to ask a really hard question now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What has the evolution of the genre scene been like in these past 10 years?
Oh.
DIY is dead.
No, don't say that. Rick.
No,
Sometimes.
that's not true.
I
That's
think
not-
I think the power pop sound is becoming more popular in a very good way. I think for a while bands were very influenced by a certain strain of emo that we played with, and now that sound is perhaps becoming more streamlined in a way that we play. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what we do in a cool way.
Yeah, and I don't know how much influence we would have had on something like that.
Yeah, but
I
it's-
remember when we were doing our thing, like first came out, like there weren't really that many other bands doing kind of the thing we were doing.
No.
No.
At least from our world, you know, like
People said we sounded like the Smoking Popes, which was cool, but
Interesting.
kinda like it.
I wanna go back to what I said about DIY. I want to say that now I think it's coming back, and I think that the community of DIY is like something that was when we were starting. DIY was still like a really like formidable thing for all of us. I think.
well,
still.
we were DIY
Yeah,
then,
we were
and then we all
DIY,
kind of stopped
yeah.
being it for a
Yeah.
while. Now we're all back to
I
doing
think
it again.
that's kind of where I'm getting at. So like I think the evolution is everyone went away from it, but now everyone's like, wait, we can own a piece of this again.
Yeah, and just
do this with
realized
our
that was like
friends.
the fun thing that we actually weren't doing. You know, like
Yeah.
like how we actually missed the autonomy and the control that we had over what our careers were like.
Yeah.
And like once you see like when you're young and you like you feel like the grass is greener on the other side, like you're like, man, I wish we had this thing and this opportunity and this team and this budget and this blah 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 blah, and then you get all of those things and you realize it's like it just makes all of it way more stressful and tense and hard, and it's like, oh man, it was way more fun when we could just like be a band doing it ourselves. And then so everyone just kind of goes back to that.
Yeah. No, and like now we have like our own label. Like Evan runs this label that we help him with, and you know like
We
that's,
run it together.
Yeah,
It's a
but, you know like it's
collective.
a community thing, right? Like, and I think it's come full circle in my mind. And then I see that also like other groups of people, they have communities now again, where I felt like that was kind of lost for a minute.
Yeah, it was.
So that was.
It's going back to the
kind of where I
basement.
was going at. It's going back to the basement, which is cool.
Uh,
We're playing the Lager House tonight.
Yeah, the Lager House
Yes.
today, which kind
Which
of feels
has
like
a
being in a
basement.
basement.
It feels like
It has a basement.
It has
Yeah,
a basement.
We've been in it. We've looked
I've
at it.
seen the
I've
basement.
smelt it.
Should we move the show
There
to
is
the
a
basement?
couch.
We could.
We could.
do
Not
it.
too late.
At the risk of putting out a shameless plug there, speaking of DIY bands, we actually have a DIY band here, Isaac and Jackson. They're part of a DIY band called Loud Fox Cult.
What is it called? Fox Cult?
Loud Fox Cult.
No, okay.
Nice.
What advice
Loud
would you
Fox
give
Cult.
to young artists, young DIY artists
Ooh,
like
that's
these?
a loaded
That's-
question.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's a great
Ooh.
question.
That's a good question.
But I have so many things that I could say.
I think just like be true to yourself.
Yes.
Don't like chase. I guess like don't chase the. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No one is going to know your band better than you know
Yeah,
your band.
Exactly.
And the more honest you are with yourselves and what you're doing and just being authentic, I think the better suited you will be to be understood by those around you and also have confidence knowing exactly what you are.
And just play all the time.
Yeah, like
Play
focus on being a
all
good
the
band.
time.
Don't worry about the small
Yeah.
small beep, 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 beep. The small stuff, if you're a good band and you focus on being a good band and writing good songs, all the other stuff will just fall into place.
Yeah, that's the main key. Like, play all the shows, practice all the time.
Be kind to those you meet.
Yeah, be super nice to everybody because
You never know where they'll be.
you'll see them again. You always will. And the connections you make early on will remain connections you have for 10 years. Like
Yeah.
now we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We still are working with and like hanging out with people we met on our very first tours. So it all kind of goes full circle.
And do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And like if you're not happy, right? Like that's different. Like you shouldn't force yourself to do something, you know, like, and also just, you know, yeah, like we all just said, you know, just be your authentic self, and if you're having fun, then that's the most important thing about music. We
Yeah,
wouldn't do this if we weren't having fun.
Yeah, you'll remember that when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
When you're older and not playing music anymore, or like, you know, the things you're going to remember, all the fun moments. You're not
Yeah.
going to remember like stressing out about being late to the show, or like what so and so said about your band on the internet, or blah 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 blah. Like that's not gonna matter.
You're gonna remember macing yourself in the face.
Yeah, that's really it.
Don't eat the last hot dog on the roller at the 7-Eleven. Don't do it.
We have lots of good advice.
What are some bands that you feel might not get a lot of love that you want people to be introduced to?
Oh man.
Lifetime.
We've been really vibing on that Super Violet record.
Yes.
Super Violet.
Which is our friend Steve, who used to be in the Sidekicks.
Sidekicks.
So the Sidekicks also would be another band. Those two bands that Steve were in, they're both great. A band that we would have toured with a lot was Sprainerd.
Yep.
Sprainerd would have been something. Sundials was who did our very first tour. Sundials is a band we're calling out.
Retirement Party.
Retirement Party. Camp Trash.
Pet Symmetry.
Pet Symmetry. Definitely
Shameless
Pet
plug.
Symmetry. And then we all play in other bands. So Rat Boys and Dowsing and Into It Over It. And
There.
The
Please and Thank Yous.
Mush and the Please and Thank Yous and What Gives and
Wow. This is many bands. It's all bands.
Kitty Hawk and Couplet.
Let's go.
And
Keep going.
else? What else is there?
No.
You can just rattle through them.
Man.
Bingo bango.
There's really cool young bands like Teenage Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, oh my God.
We're playing
now
with,
I'm blanking.
I've been doing stuff with Sweet Pill a lot this year. They've been really great. Pool Kids is a great band.
Pool Kids.
Get some shine. Oh my God. I've been listening to that Gel record a lot. That record's really good. Soul Glow and Scowl and
Drain.
Drain is cool.
Oh, Drug Church.
Drug Church
Can I say
is cool.
drug?
You can say drug.
Can I say church?
Like Tylenol.
Yeah. Flintstone vitamins.
Those bands are all really sick. You can also
share a
Nirvana.
practice space with Sincere Engineer.
Nirvana.
It's our buddies. Yeah,
Foo
Nirvana.
Fighters are coming back.
Nirvana should get some shine.
The Beatles.
Are you the new drummer of the Foo Fighters?
Yes.
Nice.
It pays the bills.
Yeah.
I figured.
Gonna buy 1 million diamond rings.
Yes.
Now, we are almost done, but I want to give my students a chance to ask at
Absolutely.
least 20
Please,
questions.
Absolutely.
Ask away.
Please.
Here's Clayton, the host of our morning show.
Hello.
Waking up at Clayton and Eggs, otherwise called
Clayton and
Jenny
Eggs.
Broke Up With
You
Me.
got eggs on the
dude.
socks.
It's also called Jenny Broke Up With Me. I have a question. What
Okay.
was the hardest record that you guys had to like come out with? Like, was there any records that were hard, like just songwriting wise or meeting up, getting together wise, that were just really a pain in the?
Let me tell you.
what?
Let me tell you. We have a record called Pet Sounds, and Pet Sounds almost didn't get finished.
That's right. That's right.
And the band Pet Sim, the fact that Pet Sim has made it 10 years almost didn't happen. It almost didn't make it
right.
2 or 3 years.
Our friendship
And-
was galvanized.
Yeah, there was a rift, but we have come out stronger on the other side, and so that record did get made, but it took like 3 years to make. We started recording it, and then the band almost didn't happen, and it kind of took a break for a year or two, and then we all worked it out. And then we finished it.
Every Pet Sim record needs a challenge in order for us to finish and start it.
Vision was pretty easy.
It was,
Vision was easy.
But
all right, well,
we made,
Vision was fine. Okay.
we made future suits through COVID. And
That's right,
That
yeah.
stunk a lot.
That was hard.
That
But
was
it
hard.
started before COVID, and then COVID struck, and we had to figure out how to keep making it while
Yeah.
we were all isolated. And
Yeah.
that was a challenge for sure. But
Yeah.
And then we have
the lyrical content reflects that.
And then we have a new record. We love to start records.
And
Yeah, we
then
love to
wait,
start a
then
record.
we let them sit. They fester.
we
simmer.
cook it in the oven.
We put it in the oven.
Yeah, slow and low, baby.
It's on 420, simmering
So
perfectly.
yeah, we started tracking the newest one 2 years ago,
Yes.
February 21.
and it's still got a ways to go.
But one day it will come out.
One day
Yes.
we'll be done,
And
and
then
there's
by
no
that-
rush.
And by that time, we'll have another record that will start, and it will take another 3 years.
Yeah,
to
there's no rush. We work on our own timeline. When it feels right, it feels right.
And that's all that matters. Honestly, there is no rush. Thank you.
The next two questions will be asked by Jackson and Isaac, both members of the band Loud Fox Cult and WPHS alumni.
It's good to meet you guys.
nice to meet you.
I'm really
Good to meet
hyped to see you guys play right now. And I just wanted to ask for your 2021 release, Future Suits.
Yeah.
Like, what are all of your favorite songs off there? And like,
love that
why?
question.
You know?
Great
Yeah.
question. Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
You guys go first.
My favorite song on that record is Pet Synergy.
Is that the heavy? So that song, the lyrics to that song were, I was texting a friend about. I have a corporate job, and so does my friend, and so I was texting them about like how work was going, and the lyrics, the first like set of lyrics to that song were his response about how the job was going. It was like no subsidized lunches, vibes are off, like all this thing. It was like literally word for word his text back to me. Those are the lyrics to that song, like, at least that first verse.
I also really love Portland to Portland too.
It's a good song.
Portland to Portland has my favorite lyric on it.
Because it's cute.
And that's a song about me and my now fiance traveling the year before. We got companion pass through Southwest Airlines, and we did all these trips the year before the COVID hit. And we got to see both Portlands, the one Maine and Oregon, and they were within like 3 weeks of each other. And so that song is about us kind of going on opposite sides of the country. One's about the lighthouse in Portland, Maine, and the other lyrics about what's the rock
Portland,
called?
Oregon?
No, the beach. The
Goonies.
No, there's a rock that I mentioned it's like a huge rock in the middle of the ocean. Anyway, you'll listen to it, you'll figure it out.
Mine is actually the song that didn't make the record.
Yo.
It's SS Decompress.
Ooh.
And we released it as a
Good
single,
tune.
but it was the same.
It was from that session.
Same session. Came out a year earlier. But that's a good song. It's a jammer.
We released that for our trip to Japan, which didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
COVID.
And my
COVID.
favorite is Awesome Kingdom, which is about Andy and Aya from Pool Kids' wedding, and us just like having a really good, love-filled, friendship-filled afternoon. Just like how beautiful that wedding was.
If I had to pick a song from the record, though, Window Pane would be my favorite.
Yeah.
Jammer.
It's also that song's called Awesome Kingdom because we formed a band to play at his wedding, and the song that he wanted us to play was Possum Kingdom by the Toadies, which is why we named the song Awesome Kingdom.
I remember playing that song.
First of all, it's really nice to meet you guys. Seriously,
You as well. Good to
I've
meet
been
you
listening to your music for a while. I skate to some of your songs, so
There you go.
That's right.
Works really
Keep
well.
the numbers up.
Yeah, skaters.
So obviously, like we're in a band. So a question that I have is more like I was listening to your sound check, and I could tell you guys obviously there's been a lot of time and preparation that went into getting your sets to sound really good. But just starting out, because I know you've all been musicians, for a long time. Like, what are some of your practice routines? Like when you come in, do you have an intent? Like, how do you make sure you get the most out of each session when you're getting ready to play a show or go on tour or something like that?
That's actually really sweet of you to say because we really don't practice as much as we should.
But I think in our own routines, we've all kind of learned how to play well so that when we come together, it's kind of like a Voltron of goodness.
Yeah, we all play in other bands that practice a lot. So our other main bands that rehearse every single week. Pet Sim only rehearses whenever we have something going on, which is very few and far between. So it's like if we're trying to write a record, we'll be getting together to write a record, and if we have a tour coming up, we'll do practicing leading up to the tour. But otherwise, we don't. We're all focused on our other projects, which are a little more active. I think for us, the biggest thing that helps it out is the fact that we're able to keep it loose.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, not being too strict, but also just using our ears, listening to each other, just making sure we're all gelling. As a drummer, practicing to a click is really helpful because then it kind of ingrains time in you so that it carries on.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just making sure the guitar works.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that needs
sometimes
to work.
doesn't happen.
That sometimes doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing too is we've been really lucky to play with each other for so long that I think we get the cues from each other and we hold each other accountable, but we don't. But we're not yo.
Yeah, we don't take it so seriously. We all want to show up and be playing well.
We want to play good for each other, but we don't want to be mean to each other.
Yeah,
That's
beating each other up if it's not good. I think that's the thing too. It's we're able to be so loose about it that because we're comfortable and relaxed, we wind up playing better.
Right.
Also, listen to your own band all the time.
Yeah.
Become your
honestly.
biggest fan.
Your favorite band should be your own.
Yeah.
It's true.
I'm always listening to my own music, and then that engrades it in my head, and then I can perform it better.
To wrap things up, I just wanted to say thank you guys for doing this for 10 years. You've really enriched a lot of people's lives doing it.
That's really
I love
nice.
that.
With your music.
It means a lot.
Thank you.
I really mean that. So thank you guys for being here.
No,
Yeah,
thank
you
you
all.
all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I'm Evan.
I'm Rick.
And I'm Marcus.
And we're Pet Symmetry. And you're listening to WPHS 89.1 FM, the Exile Radio.
And that's how you be in a band.